Welcome to the Basic Data Entry for Natural History in ICMS. This course will teach you the basics of entering data in the various types of fields, attaching images, and using mass update features in the Interior Museum Collection Management program. The Basic Navigation video course is a prerequisite for this training. All of the information we'll cover in this course is also available in several other places. Chapter 1 of the ICMS User Manual covers system basics. Chapter 6 covers data entry. All DOI units using ICMS should already have a copy of the manual. It is also available in PDF format on the Rediscovery FTP site at ftp.rediscov.com/ICMS and on the DOI Museum Program website www.doi.gov/museum/ICMS. We strongly recommend you refer to the user manual as you begin to use ICMS. Also, the online system help describes all of the program's functions. Let's get started. After login, you'll start at the home page. From the home page, you can go anywhere in the program. Some functions are available immediately from the home page. Others are available only when you're working with records in the database. One function available from anywhere is the system help. It includes a chapter on data entry. The data entry chapter explains how to add and modify records, and even to use the different types of fields. The Index tab in System Help is especially useful. If you cannot remember what chapter contains the information you need, click on the Index tab and enter the subject. For example, field types. Now we'll learn about data entry for natural history specimens. From the home page, you can go anywhere using the keyboard or the mouse or a combination. Navigate to the Catalog Records screen to begin. The Edit menu includes functions for adding, modifying, and deleting records. It also includes Mass Supplemental Update for quickly linking catalog records with events such as loans and exhibits. Note that the function keys are also available, F9 to add a record and F10 to modify a record, for example. Some of these edit functions are only available if you're in an editing mode, like undo, cut, copy, and paste, and some are available only when you have selected specific records, as with a tag or filter. Now we'll add a new record and see how the various field types work. It is important to be consistent with the data you enter. Click the Add button or choose Add from the Edit menu or press F9. A new window opens with blank fields. The Controlled Property field is selected. Enter Y, such as for type specimens, or N, and press Tab to go to the next field, Class 1. Note how the field help changes as you move from field to field. The field help tells you what kind of data to enter in the field and how to enter it. It also tells you whether you must complete the field, meaning that the field is required. Class 1 is a DOI controlled or locked authority table. It is a required field. You can only choose specific terms which are defined in an authority table. You cannot add terms to this table, which helps you make sure all records are classified using standard terms. Press F5 to see a list of terms in the authority table and select one. Once you know what terms are in the table, you can also just start typing and the term will fill in automatically. If you enter the wrong term, select a different one or press Ctrl Delete to remove it and choose another. Now press Tab to move to the next field. Note how the fields for geology differ from those for biology and paleontology. We'll use biology for this lesson. For biology and paleontology, there are fields for classification. Kingdom is a locked authority table like Class 1. It is a required field. Phylum division, class, order, and family are user-built authority tables. Phylum division and class are required fields. Linnaean taxon is a read-only field filled in by the program. Press Ctrl F5 to add terms appropriate for your specimens. You can fill out each of these fields manually if necessary. But there is an easier way. If you know, or if the collector provided the taxonomic serial number, TSN, for the specimen, enter it in the TSN field. And then press Tab. If the TSN is for a valid or accepted term, this will automatically fill in all the classification, scientific name, and common name for the specimen. If the TSN is not valid or accepted, it may fill in only the genus and species names, and you can then complete the higher classification fields manually. Or if you don't know the TSN but you know the genus or species name, you can click the Find Specimen link. Enter in the genus and select the name for your specimen. If the term is valid or accepted, the whole classification will fill in automatically. If not valid or accepted, it may only fill in genus and species, and you can complete the higher classification fields manually. All this data comes from ITIS, the Integrated Taxonomic Information System. The ITIS tables in ICMS are updated about once a year. Catalog number is a simple text field. It is a required field that you enter the text right into. Your bureau or office may have a standard catalog numbering format, which you should use consistently. We recommend you include your unit acronym. Enter the accession number. It is a required field. For many bureaus and offices, it will include your unit acronym. Now enter the location in the location field. It is a required field. It's a memo field, but you'll generally enter only a single line of text with abbreviations for building, room, shelf, box, etc. Object status is another locked authority table like Class 1. It is a required field. You can press F5 to view the terms and select one, or you can simply enter the text and it will fill in automatically. The status date is for the year that the object was put in a status, such as exhibit or storage. It is a required field. Item count, quantity, and storage unit work together. If you enter an item count, quantity is always empty and storage unit is always EA for each. If you enter a quantity, item count is always blank and storage unit should be anything but EA. Chapter 2 of the ICMS User Manual explains whether to use item count or quantity. You are required to complete either item count or quantity. The numbers you enter here affect your collections management report, which counts the number of objects in your collection. Description is a memo field. You can enter an unlimited amount of text in a memo field. Catalog descriptions should be brief, in the telegraphic style, and describe the distinguishing characteristics of the object. In the case of this maple leaf, a description of what the leaf looks like would be appropriate. If you want to enter a lengthy description, you can press F12 to expand the memo field into a larger window for easier editing. To move to the next page of the record, you can click the tab for Catalog or press Ctrl N. Ctrl N is for next page, and Ctrl R is for previous page. Ctrl P is the DOS and Windows keyboard command for print. Collector is a user-built authority table. It is a required field. It uses the names and addresses associated module as its authority list. It works like any other authority field. Press F5 to view the list of terms and select one. Or just start typing if you know the term is already in the list. To add your own term to the list, press Ctrl F5. Press Ctrl Delete to remove a term if you selected the wrong one. Collection number is a memo field, but you'll generally enter only one line of text, the collection number for the specimen. It is a required field. Collection date is a flexible date entry field. It is a required field. You can simply enter a date in any of several formats, such as 10/21/2006, or a range, 1998 to 1999. Or to enter a more complex date range or partial dates, press F12 to expand the field. Here you can enter the beginning and end of a date range, using full or partial dates if that's all you know. You can also include modifiers, such as circa or pre, and you can indicate the era with AD, BC, etc. Press Ctrl N to move to the Collection Site tab. Township Range Section, TRS, is a formatted memo field. This type of field expands into several subfields. Just like expanding a memo field, press F12 to expand a formatted memo field. You are required to complete either TRS, lat long, or UTM fields. Enter data in any of the subfields as appropriate. The field help explains what type of data should go in each field. The subfields in TRS are of several types: simple text, formatted simple text, and an authority table. Click Save and Close to save the record. If you have left empty any of the required fields, a message will tell you which fields need to be filled in. If you save the record with draft record status, it is incomplete and will not be counted in your collections management report. Click No to return to the record and add the missing information. The required fields that are empty have a red dot next to them. Fill them in and click Save and Close again to save the record. The Track Changes window opens. This window updates some of the supplemental records when you add or modify a catalog record. For newly added records, you can update the condition, location, and catalog notes supplemental records. Enter the appropriate data for each supplemental and click OK to close this window and save the record. You will return to the main screen showing the new record. The supplemental data you added can be seen on the Supplemental tab of the catalog record. Some supplemental records, such as object status, are updated automatically anytime the key field changes. Others, such as location, will prompt you for the reason the location changed when you save the record after changing the location. On the Images tab, you can view and attach image files to catalog records. Choose Import Image Files to select one or more image files to attach to this catalog record. You can select several at a time if needed using the Shift or Ctrl keys while clicking. If you have many image files for a single record and all the image files are in one folder, choose Import Image Folder to attach them all at once. In the Navigator, you can easily go to any associated module. For example, go to Accessions. Here you can add a new accession record. There are different fields, but they all have field help that explains how to use them, and the field types work the same as anywhere else in the program. Let's go back to catalog records. Earlier we showed you how to enter the classification of an individual specimen. You can also update the classification of groups of records. This feature is available only to system administrators. Select the records you want to update using Search, Filter, or Tags, or just select the items as I'm doing here. From the Edit menu, choose Mass Taxonomy Update. It tells you how many records are selected for the update. Click Start Update, and when that's done, click View Report. It shows which records were updated and which were not. In this example, Populus tremuloides was not updated because the current data is misspelled. Updates are made only to records that can be matched in the ITIS authority tables. There is more information about ITIS and these functions in the ICMS user manual. Let's learn about other mass update tools. All the mass update functions are available on the Edit menu. To update the same field for a group of records, use Modify All. Start by selecting the group of records you want to update. You can select them in the list, Shift-click or Control-click to select them, or you can use Searches and Filters to find the records you want. With the records selected, from the Edit menu, choose Modify All Records. In this example, we'll follow the prompts to update records for all disciplines and change the condition to Complete Excellent. When complete, note how all three records will have the new condition. Another update tool is Global Search and Replace. This is useful for finding a word and replacing it with another. You can use it for all fields or just one field. In this example, we've noted a typo in the cataloger field on some records. McKnight should be MacKnight. Global Search and Replace will search the specified field for the specified text and replace it with the word we want. To link a group of records to an event, such as an outgoing loan, use Mass Supplemental Update. Select the supplemental type, in this example, Loans Out. Add a new Loan Out supplemental and select the loan from a list. You can create a new loan record from this point by pressing ctrl F5, or you may already have created the loan directly in the Loans Out module. The Mass Supplemental Update process links the selected catalog records to the event. The link can also be seen from the Supplemental Information tab of the catalog record. Finally, a very simple and handy tool for adding records that are similar to one another, copy the record. The Copy button on the button bar is right next to Add and Modify. Use Copy any time that you have several similar records to add. After adding the first one, you can simply copy it, change the catalog number and any other data that is unique to this item, and save the record. We are now at the end of this training. Remember to use the system help and the ICMS user manual. If you need technical support for ICMS, contact Rediscovery at the phone or email shown on the help menu under About Rediscovery.